of the Blair Township Board of Trustees regular meeting of February 8th, 2022 to order. We might as well stand for the pledge and then I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's do roll call and then we'll do it.
Zeitz,
Here.
please. Oh, I'm here. Sarah, Carl,
Yeah, here.
Wolfgang,
Here.
Blonshine, absent. Campbell.
Here.
Fitzpatrick.
Okay, in Nicole's absence, we need a motion to appoint a chairperson. And I would move to appoint Dennis Fitzpatrick as chairperson for the night.
Support.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carried. Take it away, Dennis.
Okay, any public input? No.
Now, may I say something?
You may.
I want to thank Blair Township EMS for the great service they do. They help me good. And I'm glad I live in Blair Township because we've got the best EMS and the best firefighters of all. They were fantastic. They treated me with dignity and kindness and were fantastic. So I'll bring that up. I want to thank all the EMS and all the even firefighters of Blair Township for the great job they do.
Thank you, Carl. Approval of the agenda.
I have a couple things that we need to move around and add. So, I would like to, move the recommendation to replace commercial water meters to item number 2 on the agenda.
Number 2.
And then add the quotes from Peerless Midwest as number 3. Patrick just got these today and we would like to get going on this, so we're adding them to the agenda. I put copies of the quote, gave everybody copies of the quote. And then as number 13, we're adding declare laptop and docking station as surplus. This was in Eric's report, but Nicole didn't put it on the agenda. She must have missed it. And then as item 14, water sewer operator job description. And I should probably say this. We really need another water operator. And we didn't have a job description for Patrick. So that's why we're doing this. And then we're adding as 15, place an ad for another water sewer operator. Do I have you confused now, Dennis?
Yes. You'll have to.
Sorry. Yeah, I will
Oh,
help you.
God.
I'm right here.
Here, give him that.
We're gonna have the big one.
Yes.
There's
Thank
that.
you.
Cindy typed this out, so,
And then she added to it.
yeah.
Okay, I guess we're ready for a motion on the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda with changes and additions.
I'll support it.
Okay, it's been moved and supported to approve the agenda with the corrections. Let's see, movie number 2. Movie number 2 to what?
Number 14.
To number 14?
Number 11.
No.
Number
Oh,
two.
number 11.
Yes.
11 to 2.
11 to 2, 2 to 11. Okay, and adding 14,
13, 14, and 15.
Well, 13's up, oh, it's already there, isn't it?
No,
Declare laptop number 2268.
it wasn't on the original agenda.
Oh, that's,
So we're
I'm reading
adding-
somebody's notes, thank you.
Yes.
It is right here. Okay, number 13, declare laptop tag number 2268 and docking station tag number 2216 as surplus. And number 14, water sewer operator job description and place an ad for another water sewer operator. That's it.
We have to vote.
Oh, yes.
Can we
Roll call.
move number 3?
It just is move, everything's gonna move
Just move it
down.
down. Okay, move 1 down. There'll be 4, okay, got it.
Campbell,
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes,
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Zeiss,
Yes.
Wolfgang.
Yes.
Declaration of conflict of interest. Does anybody have any conflict of anything on the agenda for tonight? No conflict. Presentations and special reports.
Brad stopped in earlier and said he is gonna be late. He's going to Garfield's
Okay,
meeting first.
and I think,
And we don't have a community police officer.
okay,
No, everybody got the notes
notes.
though from him.
okay. Then the treasurer's report.
All right, and before I do the report, I just want to add, we received another deposit of $1,915.76 of ARPA funds. And this, from what I understand, from what the Department of Treasury said, this is from the funds that, of the townships that didn't accept the money. So it went back into a pool and then they distributed it out by however they figured out the first time.
How much? was that?
Percentage, 1,915.76. Not a lot, but
Every little bit helps.
yeah, that's right. So we have general fund, 4,522,206. Public safety fund, 1,019,264. Ambulance fund, 932,350. Metro Act fund, 17,235. Liquor law enforcement is $35,097. Milfoil fund is $7,871. Sewer fund is $1,846,682. Water fund is $2,619,615. Current tax collection is $356,148. The payroll fund is a negative 2.81 for a total of $11,356,464.78.
Thank you, Tracy. Announcements and correspondence.
You know, oh, I'm sorry, never mind. My bad.
I did it right.
Yes, you did.
The water loss committee update. That would be me. We met with BS&A on the software. We went through all the software and probably was here 3/4 of a day going over everything with them. And the biggest thing, what we did come up with, it showed that there really wasn't any problems with the software itself. But what we did find is that there was some discrepancies in the commercial meters that are out there, because first of all, they're over age, way over age, and then what happens when they slow down, they don't read as the water flow goes through, it's not reading it and picking it up. And one of them especially was Taco Bell. Was a big one. There was a big discrepancy there. We went back several years and it showed a huge difference in the water loss. So what we did is basically what we would like to do is replace all of the commercial meters right now. And I think, what are they, old Badgers that are out there?
Yeah, Badgers and Census.
Okay. And there was a quote of like $65,000 to do the ones that we needed, and it would be about another, it was about $100,000 total with the meters and installation.
80 something.
Yeah.
But that's an agenda item
Yes.
later on.
Okay, so that's where we are on the water committee. And, and we have been receiving positive feedback about the newsletter.
Yeah, we received one that said he wanted to take a moment and express my delight with the newsletter that came out last week. I especially like the dates to remember, staff directory, and meeting dates. Of interest was also the dates and advice of community cleanup. You all did a great job communicating pertinent information for the future. But with that, I also got one complaint on the phone, and it was a lady that was upset because it just reads resident on the
It was
two-
addressed, President.
Yeah, it was addressed resident and then the address because, we don't know if it's a rental who's in there or what, so it just says resident on there, and she was very disappointed that we did not address her by name.
I have had 5 or 6 calls from people interested in being poll workers.
Oh,
So
good.
people are
Sweet.
reading, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Good,
Just goes to show you, people like information.
that's right.
Okay, next is the consent calendar. The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board may ask at any time of the consent calendar to be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such request will automatically be respected. Any request?
I would make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
It's been moved and approved to approve the consent calendar as presented, and we could have roll call.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Light,
Yes.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Please. Yes. Campbell,
Yes,
Kuchar.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, unfinished and old business, we have none. So we'll move on to new business, and the first item on the agenda is the 2022 Township Water Supply and Treatment Summary. Wade Brown.
Good evening, everybody. Ken Short with Waste Drum. Seems like it's been a long time since I've been here. We reached out to Township not too long ago. As we go through development reviews, every development review that puts in new water sewer comes for our review. And as everybody knows, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of development happening, and what we're seeing is that we're coming up to the limits of the system. We're not over the limit necessarily yet, but it's not gonna be long before DEQ says you cannot add any more new development until you expand your water supply system. So we went through and we kind of put together some numbers, and Patrick has done the same, and we kind of compared some notes, and we are very close to, we think, very close to not being able to supply our maximum day demands. The system has bottlenecks in different portions of it. The supply to wells can only pump so much. There's a treatment process. So there's some limitations that I think we could take a look at and potentially get some increases in the short term. So we sat down with everybody last week and asked us to put together a scope of work and a study so we can start identifying what could be done. And so what we did is try to look at short-term improvements, what can we do to get us through the next year or two, and then long-term improvements. So a long-term improvement is basically anything like a new well or a new treatment system. If that is needed, that takes time to get that designed, permitted, and constructed. It could take years. So we don't necessarily want to dive right into that and then run out of water at the end of this next construction season. So we also want to look at short term. Is there anything we can do short term to just increase our supply? Can we take a bottleneck out somewhere and get us through? So we sat down and we went through some of those items, and they asked us to put a proposal together to do that work. Did everybody get a copy of that February 7th proposal?
That's the one that I gave you today. So Ken, this project cost that's listed here would be just for the short term?
So the way we put it together, and this proposal is a time and materials. So this is what we think we need to do, a short term review of the system, what can we do short term to get increased, but also take a look at long term.
Okay.
Are we gonna need a new well? Are we gonna need new treatment? And if we need a new well, we need new treatment. They go together. So it's defining more precisely just how much and potentially how soon.
Right.
So we can get that planning process going.
Yeah.
To get the funding rounded up and design and all that. So but it's a time and materials. So it's kind of, we're working for you, so we need to know what you want us to proceed with. You know, it's not an all or none, this proposal. This is, for this scope of work, that's what we think it'll cost.
Well, I definitely think we need to think about long-term and like you say, we don't wanna run out by the end of the summer, so I think we need to look at both.
I honestly think you'll probably have to start designing development requests before the end of the summer.
Wow.
Just, there's been so much development happening so quickly. And some of those developments are very large. And then it takes a lot of resources to supply them.
Now you're talking like a new well, so we need more treatment. Our system, can we add to it, or do we need another one?
Well,
Right now I'm making myself make
Do you mean the
sense.
treatment plan?
Yeah,
Can you add another well at the treatment plant?
can we add,
so there's ways to do that, different ways. It's gonna come down to what makes sense. We'd have to look at it. Can we add another well? Is there room? Is there enough isolation distance? Can we put another well in? That's something we would look at. And we know we're at our treatment capacity. So
Okay.
as soon as we put another well in, we have to expand treatment capacity. I would say have to. The treatment is really aesthetic. The water that comes out of the well is safe to drink, but it's not very pleasing when the rust hits your sinks. So that's why we treat the water.
Yeah.
But to maintain that water quality, we would have to add treatment as soon as we add supply.
So the 25,000, is that like a consulting fee, kind of like to print up the plan, figure it all out?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, what that would
okay,
do,
that's what I thought.
it would come back with a list of items that we would recommend
Oh,
and
yeah.
cost, what we think it would cost to do that.
Okay,
And
So-
long term also, what funding pots are out there.
okay.
How it goes.
So basically, it would be 25,000 plus time and material? So,
No, that's a time and materials estimate of
Okay.
25,000.
okay,
Now, there are a couple things we don't have included in there. If we get into the electrical, very specifics, then we need to get an electrician in there.
Yeah,
That, we didn't have time to get an electrician quote,
sure.
so that would be an additional cost.
yeah, and that's said in there then.
Yeah, same thing with the filters are proprietary. And we need to get with those guys. We haven't made all those calls yet to see would they give us any kind of insight or would they require a review fee on their site too. Everybody's swamped right now, so those things are coming up more often.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to contract with Wade Trim for a water supply and treatment review at the estimated cost of $25,000.
I'll support that.
Okay, it's been moved and supported to contract with Wade Trim, a water supply and treatment summary for the amount of $25,000. Roll call? Oh, we haven't
Discussion,
voted.
Support? Yes.
discussion,
Trustee support.
should be discussion.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
you may.
Okay, I do like to think at 25,000. It's gonna be hard, I'm trying to look at this, it says we will be on time materials. But if it's electrical or filter treatment constants not included, so we really don't know what that cost would be, do we?
No, we don't know
So
either.
right now, are we just keeping it at 25,000, but if it goes over that, we not?
Just the 25,000 for Wade Trim.
For what they're saying.
Wade trim,
Yes,
but if it goes to anything else, we'd have to vote on it again.
Right.
right,
For the electric.
for the
Okay.
Yeah,
electric.
we would, I would want to get a quote from an electrician and bring that
Sure.
to you.
I mean, we'd have to vote on it unless it was like less than $3,000, then Nicole could just,
Yeah, if it goes over
Approve it.
25,000, we have to vote on it again.
3,000.
Cause the electric in that would be from a different company. This is
Right.
just what we're
Yeah, I
gonna
know,
Wade Trim.
just Wade trim right now.
Yeah. And they don't know, I mean, they'd be guessing
Yeah.
on a dartboard if they even need an electrician.
Right.
Right now, we don't know. Okay, got it.
Anyone else? Do we have roll call?
Zeitz,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Please. Yes. Kuchar.
No,
Thank you. Okay, number 2, policy number 22.
Well, we changed it to the water.
Oh, that's right.
Do you want this
We're
back?
number 3.
Dennis,
right?
do you want this back?
Yes, I'm a little confused here. Okay. Oh, number 3, no.
No,
Yeah.
2, it's in order.
Recommendation to replace commercial water meters. And as we discussed, we need to replace, what we're talking about is all the commercial water meters out there with new Metron. And the quote was $65,000 for the meters, and then it was going to be another approximately $20,000 for installation, for a total of $80,194.
Patrick,
Yes.
there's approximately 200 commercial meters out there, right?
Yeah, there's 204 commercial accounts.
Okay.
And on here, if you do the math, there's only 128 meters on here.
That's what I saw.
Why? On where?
On
In the
estimate,
quote?
Yeah. Did
Okay.
you get the second and third page?
Oh. Yeah, I wasn't looking at that.
If you add them up, it comes to 128, and on Lisa's report at the end of the month, it
Yeah.
showed last month that there were 204 commercial accounts.
Yep. So how come there's only 128?
I have no idea. I never sent in I think Lisa sent in the quantity of meters.
So,
So maybe some of
Wait a
them
minute.
are 20 years old.
No, a few of them have the new Metrons.
Okay,
And
well,
I think there's 17 of them that are the old original Badgers that were
Okay.
installed in '98.
mhm,
And then anything 1 inch and smaller was replaced in, 2009 when they did the meter change out with those census meters. That was 1 inch and smaller.
yes, I think that was
so
it.
that's 12 years ago, 11, 12 years ago.
And I'd like to add something to this too, as well.
You'd like to what?
Add a comment to this, to the meter change out.
Okay,
We had discussed, while they're doing the meter change out, to have them or someone else do cross connection inspections while they're in there. I talked to Mike from Metron today, and, the commercial cross connections inspections would be $145 or $145 per site. Now, it doesn't have to be them, but it could be, another company that would come in and do that. And that's just for the commercials.
You talked to who today? I'm sorry.
Mike from, at Metron, the salesman from Metron,
Mike Martin.
Mike Martin.
So Metron could do the
Yes.
cross connection inspections?
Yep, yes. It would be an additional $145 per site.
On top of the installation
Yes,
and the cost of the meter.
yes.
Okay.
And I highly recommend that, that somebody does do that while they're changing out meters. Because we just don't have the manpower to do 204 cross connection inspections. And we are behind on that quite a bit on our cross connection control program.
I have a question. So, who would install these meters? Where did we get this price from?
I don't know the name of the company from that Metron recommends.
HydroCorp.
Huh?
HydroCorp.
HydroCorp.
Is
okay.
that in his email?
Mm-hmm.
No,
In Mike's email?
Yeah, Paul from HydroCorp said he would mobilize a team as soon as meters are on site.
Okay.
oh, okay, good.
So, well, I don't want to hold this up, but I have a question, why is there only 128 meters on here?
Yeah, and I saw that too, because I just got this today.
Okay,
Okay.
I just got this
Yeah,
this
we
afternoon.
sent it to him.
What we need is an updated, exactly what we need to replace.
Yes.
Total
and-
number.
and I don't know did Lisa send in the information to Metron for these?
That's what I'm guessing.
So-
I thought you did, but it must have been Lisa because,
She has all the commercial accounts.
yeah.
okay, I don't have a calculator right here. And what's 145 times 128?
It'd be 204.
Actually, 204, yes, I'm sorry.
3,060.
Thank you. Because even if we weren't replacing those other meters, they still need the cross-connection inspection.
Yes.
All right,
So we need to,
What was your number? 204 times 145? 29,580?
I got 3060 from whatever she gave me.
I thought
What'd you tell me?
145
Uh-huh.
times 204,
29,580.
What's it?
29,580. Okay, I have another question for you, Patrick.
Yeah.
So there's different size meters here.
Yeah.
Do you have, so there's a 3/4, 5/8 by 3/4 inch, a 1 inch. I don't know what this,
1.5 inch.
1.5 inch, 2
2
inch and 3
3
inch. Ooh, those 2 inch. All right. So what's 204 minus 128?
And the size of the meter doesn't determine the cross connection inspection.
But it does the meter
Right.
price,
204 minus what, 128?
276.
And I asked Lisa why there was a difference at the 128 to 204, and I didn't get a great answer. So, but I just went off her report I get at the end of the month. And it says the commercials there's 204 of them.
Yeah.
Total.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
1,206 residential.
Of those 204, do they all need to be replaced?
Well, that's what we're trying to.
There's a handful that don't, like the storage buildings are considered commercial,
Uh-huh.
like all of Stafford, those have all the new
New
Metrons.
new meters.
Yep, and like Great Lakes Potato Chips is getting a Metron. And the storage units on Blair Valley, we just put Metrons in there. So there's probably maybe 15 to 20 Metrons in the commercial, I'm gonna guess. And Lisa will have that information.
Yeah.
She can pull that up on her computer, I can't.
But there's definitely more than 128 that need to be.
According to this report. Because when you add up the total meters on the quote, it comes to 128. And her water department report shows 204 commercial meters. And like I say, I just got this afternoon.
So,
There's probably 50 to 60 more. that
But we
need to be
don't
done,
know
but
what
that
size
will-
or anything.
They should be replaced.
I'm gonna guess that they're the 5/8 by 3/4. Because I know, for the 1 inch and above, this looks about right to me, just off the top of my head. I'm gonna guess there's more 5/8 by 3/4.
why would somebody use a 3-inch as opposed to a 2-inch?
For more water.
Okay, so like a restaurant.
Not necessarily a restaurant, the car wash, they're using 10 to 30,000 gallons a day.
So do they have a 3-inch meter?
They have, I believe they have 3-inch meter, yes.
Will that laundromat need a bigger meter, or does
Most
that,
likely.
you already have that?
Most likely, they're gonna need a 2.5 or a 3-inch meter on off the top of my head. I don't know how much water they're planning on using.
But they don't have a meter in the building where they're putting the laundromat yet, or they do?
Not that I know of. I didn't even know we were gonna get one.
Oh, it's on Blair Valley, I believe, isn't it?
You know, where's that?
Behind,
The laundromat?
yeah, isn't that behind Mancino's?
I thought it was in the same plaza as Mancino's.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
That's
I think
what
it
I
was.
thought.
It's in one of those buildings.
So now 76 times 345. Oh. Okay,
That would, it'd be double because they have 76 on there now. So it'd be 52,440.
And that's just off the top of my head, just guessing.
all right, I'm gonna make a motion.
Okay.
I move to approve spending up to $150,000 of the ARPA funds to replace the commercial water meters and have the cross connection inspections performed.
No support.
Because this quote is 65,000?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That didn't include the installation.
So I think that-
All right, so hold on, let me change my
Yeah.
number.
It's 80,000
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. And that. And then what was the 145 times 204?
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Oh, my phone.
29,580.
We're still safe.
Oh, yeah, the 150 should do it.
So
And
you're
he's
sticking-
supposed to call me
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Do you want me to have him drop a new quote, or do you want me to have him get with you?
You can, Lisa's gonna have to find out exactly how many more meters.
Okay,
Yeah.
so have them two talk and figure it out.
Yes,
And I'll
absolutely.
ask the question in the morning as to
Yeah.
what the discrepancy is and
Mhm,
see if we can get a knockdown answer and,
mhm.
okay.
Okay,
Do you still support it, Carl?
Yes.
okay, there's been a motion and support to spend up to $150,000 of ARPA funds to replace the commercial water meters and to include the cross-connection performance
Inspection.
inspections.
And that cross connection will be, Eagle requires us high hazards, every, 5 years to inspect them. So this will cover us for 5 years, and then when they do residentials, if we decide to do residentials, that's $30 per cross connection. And those are, they like to see that done every 10 years.
Okay. We have a roll call?
Zeitz,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Lees,
Yes.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Kuchar,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes. Okay, are we on number
We are on number 3, which is the Peerless, quotes from Peerless,
three? Okay, yes,
right?
correct. That's what I have here.
Yeah.
So we are, the quotes from Peerless, Midwest End.
Patrick, do you want to talk about these,
Sure.
please?
We'll start with the well and pump performance testing, for all 4 wells. Eagle likes to see this done every 2 years. We haven't done it since 2006. And Peerless they did it last time. And what they do, they come in and they make sure that your wells are performing what they should be performing. And going into probably one of our busiest summers, we should get this done. In case we have any issues, we can get them done before it's too late.
I agree.
So that's the first quote, and that's $275 per well.
So that's 550
Oh, yeah, he didn't put,
or,
275 times 4.
okay, so it's 1,200, 1,100.
And then the water treatment plant check valve, the spool piece and valve replacement. Right now, our main check valve is leaking. The check valve is leaking, and that's the original check valve from when that system was put in Oscoda, actually in 1990. So I recommend that we have that replaced. We have one of our backwash valves that's leaking. And that should definitely be replaced. And there's a spool piece in the water plant where the chlorine chemical quill injects the chlorine. It's a piece of pipe about this long. And when you inject that chlorine and it's a high concentration on that pipe, it should be replaced because we can't see inside that pipe. And that chlorine is starting to deteriorate the inside of that pipe. And if that pipe goes, the water plant's shut down. We can't, you have to be replaced. It's the main pipe feeding the filters where the chlorine is injected. And since 1998, that chlorine's been injecting on that same spot. So we should get that replaced. Any questions on that?
Question. The leakage you were talking about,
Yeah,
how much is it? Just puddles on the floor or what?
it's dripping, it's just a drip.
Just a drip, drip?
Drip.
Not a lot, not a
Right.
lot to measure. Okay, good.
Yep. And it's not spraying, no, it's not spraying anywhere. The install of an air line on well 2 and replace the stab pipe. There is supposed to be an air line. Eagle wants to see an air line on that. It is what they do when they come do a pump test. You measure the drawdown on the aquifer to make sure that you're not pulling, to make sure the aquifer is good and that you're not losing water in your aquifer. Make sure you have enough water in there. And then the stab pipe, that is what the drop pipe, the well pump and motor rests on, and it's corroding. And that should be replaced, because if that fails, everything drops down to the bottom of the well. And he only looked at well 1 when he was out here for that, so when they come and do the other wells, hopefully they don't find anything, but they may. And those wells are very important to the water system. You know, I don't wanna lose one in June or July. I wanna make sure everything's running properly before we hit our peak season. Does anybody have a question on that quote?
So it's just shy of 20,000 for all 3.
Yes. And I'm recommending we have Peerless do this. They're familiar with our system. And the guy's name is EC. He's actually gonna be here Tuesday. So if anybody is interested, he'll be here in the morning. If these all get approved, we're gonna go over scheduling and how we're gonna go about doing this.
What if they don't get approved? Is he still gonna be here?
Yeah.
For what?
He's gonna be in town.
Oh, okay.
So, and one thing I'd like to add to this is, which I did not get a quote on, is some of the bolts on the flanges on the main piping in the water plant are actually, the nuts are actually, the metal is flaking off. And I'd like to have them replace the bolts while they're here. They have torches that they can cut them off. We don't have the capability to do that. And I don't know how much extra that would be, but I can ask him when he's here.
Do you think it's $5,000?
No,
Okay.
no, it'll probably be less than 1,000. There's not that many, but there's a 90 that goes up after the chemical treatment where all those bolts are, the metal's literally flaking off of them. And any other bad bolts that they can replace while they're here. Because they have the equipment to do it.
So on this first quote, it says gauges if necessary are extra.
What does it say?
Gauges if necessary are extra.
Yes. And they're just pressure gauges.
Which one?
Okay.
They're not a huge expense, maybe $20 for a gauge, I'm gonna guess.
How much?
Maybe $20 for a pressure gauge. It's just a pressure gauge.
And it's just checking to make sure it's working properly.
Absolutely. Yep. And is what they do, they'll do a flow test and they'll mag the motors out to make sure they're running properly and that we're getting the right flows and that the motor windings are good. And I actually have, for the motors in the water plant, for the high service pump, I have Graham motors coming out, they're gonna mag those to make sure that all the windings on the motors are good. High service pumps 1 and 2 are from this water plant is a transplant from Oscoda.
Okay.
That was installed in 90. We got it in 98. High service pumps 1 and 2, which are least producing pumps, have never been touched.
Mm.
And with something like that, we don't wanna be pulling and placing impellers because we could cause more of a problem, okay, if we pull those apart. So I at least wanna have Mike Graham come in and make the motors to make sure the windings are good and that all the electrical's good on the motors. And that's not that expensive, it's under probably $1,000.
But that's a separate thing.
Yes, I just wanted to let you know.
So these three quotes come to, if I added correctly, 19,284.35? Is that what you came up with?
I
Tracy?
have 384, but
Okay, oh, my bad. So,
you're probably right.
no, I'm very wrong. I probably didn't hear you something, but, I'll make a motion unless somebody else wants to. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve spending up to $22,000 to have Peerless Midwest perform repairs on the water system
Yep.
As quoted.
as quoted.
Support.
Boy, Nicole's gonna come back and say, Jesus Christ, you guys spend enough money
I
the
know,
other night?
that's when I read over the agenda, I'm like, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
There you go, sir.
Okay, it's been moved and supported to spend up to $22,000 with Peerless and Midwest Inc. To do repairs on the water system as quoted. Roll call.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
So Patrick, go ahead and have him quote those bulbs.
Okay. He'll be here Tuesday.
Like what time? You know?
He should be here on 8:39. He's gonna call me when he gets close.
Do you, and this is it's on the same subject, but so years ago, we used to have a water committee. Remember that, Marilyn? I think that might not be a bad idea to keep up on all this
Yes, I think that's.
stuff that hasn't been done in years.
I would even add water and sewer.
Well,
Yes.
yes. I think it was a water and sewer committee.
Yeah.
So it
Which-
should be updated at all
If,
times.
if I could add something that we kind of talked about earlier, you were talking about a laundromat. I don't know if it's appropriate for me to talk about the lift station at this moment.
What about it?
Go ahead.
Well, since we got the car wash, that car wash is using 10 to 30,000 gallons a day. And if you do the math on a max day, that's like adding 90 residential units. Okay, a residential unit per Eagle is 300 gallons per day. Okay. Great Lakes potato chips, their max day is gonna be 2,500, and now we're talking laundromat. Our lift station pumps 300 to 400 gallons a minute. When the car wash dumps, which they were dumping before I came back here, because I can see it on my SCADA, our pump cycles are every 13 to 15 minutes. And normally it's an hour and a half to 2 hours. So the lift station is seeing a huge increase with that car wash. And when these businesses come in, I don't know their water usage until they're built. I don't get this information. But if we add a laundromat and we have a snafu at the lift station, we're within a half hour, if that's down, we're in dire straits.
Well, all right, and this is not a question for you, Patrick. It was probably more a question for you, Dennis. Cause, well, the car wash, I can't remember, did that come to the board?
Yes,
Was it a special
it was
use?
a special
Yeah.
use.
Okay, so one of the standards for approval, I believe, is that it will not be,
Detrimental.
no, they won't need more, that our infrastructure can handle.
Oh, God.
You know, like sewer, water, fire. Isn't that one
That's
of,
not one of the standards of approval. Could be wrong. but I don't-
I'll be right back.
Okay. Break time.
Right, because without Patrick's input,
Yeah,
then how,
How
I mean, the
does
planning
anybody
commission
know?
or the board wouldn't know if our system could handle it, right?
But what should be done is anything that's new that's coming in that is approved should go immediately to you.
Right,
Yeah, and I mean, I know the
Right.
township's looking at another car wash
Oh,
and a laundromat.
yeah,
And I actually called Great Lakes last week and asked them, they're using 1,800 to 2,500 gallons a day. And, I mean, every pump cycle is 1,500 gallons. So when that car wash is dumping, every 15 minutes, there's 1,500 gallons coming into that lift station.
mhm,
And it's, from this December, no,
2204, isn't it?
this January
Why is
to
that?
last January, it's a 25% increase in water pumped.
I can't imagine, I mean, that car wash is constantly,
well,
has lines
Yeah,
and stuff,
and
and it's a good car
I
wash.
was under the impression they were reclaiming water, but they're reclaiming water through the day. They fill at night and they dump in the day. Which I don't know exactly how that works, it sounds backwards. But I originally noticed that on the SCADA system, because normally every pump cycle, there's a space in between the red intake line, which shows pump cycle, and they were really close to each other. And I clicked on them and I saw it's like every 13 to 15 minutes, those pumps are coming on, pumping 1,500 gallons. Then I went to WaterScope for the Metron meters, and I saw at night, they're flowing up to 100 gallons per minute. So,
and this is their busiest time of year right now, during
Yeah.
the winter months.
but if we get another car wash, and we get a laundromat in Great Lakes, we got 2 car washes dumping at the same time, a laundromat, and Great Lakes, I mean,
It's a lot on our infrastructure.
I don't think it would be able to take all that.
it's pushing it to the limits.
This guy up here doesn't use our water system, right, next to Shell?
No, he's got a well on a
Yep.
drain field.
2204, special land use review procedures, standards for approval. Will be served adequately by essential public services and facilities, such as highways, roads, drainage ditches, drainage structures, police and fire protection, and refuse disposal. So that doesn't,
Include water.
water and sewer?
Yeah.
That should be added. And like I said, we need to have, every time there's a new building or anything going on, you should immediately have that information.
And
And-
give his report prior to the planning commission making
right.
a recommendation.
Just like the fire department does.
Right,
Correct,
yeah.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
agree.
and I mean, if there is a problem at the lift station, I mean, our response time, if everybody's dumping, it's not fast. And a pumper truck won't keep up. You know, and then we have 2.5 miles of 10-inch force main
And-
that has cleanouts, but there's no valves to isolate a section. You can't isolate a section of that 2.5 mile force main. You can't isolate it. Everything has to go back into the lift station. Like, let's say we had a grease plug out for, I don't know, there's like 790s in there. If we have an issue with that, we not only have to drain 2.5 miles of pipe, but keep up with what's coming in, just so somebody can get a snake in there and clean out the porcelain. Which I don't know why there wasn't any valves put in that, but there's not one valve in that system to isolate it. You can't isolate sections of that thing. But there's cleanouts, but you can't pop a clean out and get an auger or and get a jet rod in there or anything, because you're gonna get, it all goes up, runs uphill, so everything's gonna run back down on the clean out.
Well, in this, I'm sorry, the standard for approval, F, that was E, this one is F. Will not create excessive additional requirements at public cost for public facilities and services.
That would be your water and sewer.
Right. Okay, well, we got two things we need to talk about at a future meeting.
Upgrades at the lift station. And then we're gonna be adding these apartment complexes.
Oh my.
There's more condos going out at Stafford, and they're all gonna be on the sewer. Silver Lake Storage won't be on the sewer, but a lot of the new stuff is gonna be on the sewer system. And I mean, there can be changes there. I don't know if we can go with submersibles, upgrade that station to submersibles.
Well, the station was originally permitted for twice the volume.
Yeah.
It's currently pumping. So there may be improvements we can do with a lot of infrastructure. Just, it takes a look at to figure out what can be done.
And that they're supposed to pump 600 to 700 gallons a minute, but they pump only 300 to 400 gallons a minute. Anybody got any more questions?
No. Good, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Made some-
And I highly, the water and sewer committee, I think that's a fantastic idea.
That way, all of us can be up to date on what the needs are.
Yes.
Okay, Brad, would you like to come up?
Thanks, Pat, for buying me time so I could make it from Garfield to here.
Yes,
So-
I'm doing that for you.
I know you were, so, I was just thinking, you need to make sure you spend money when Nicole's not here, because
Yeah.
the board's really.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brad Jewett, Grand Traverse County Board of Commissioners, I actually have a pretty short report tonight. Back in December, we did approve, budgeting for a Bearcat for the Sheriff's Department. And 2 weeks ago tomorrow, we did actually approve that purchase. Now, I know there's been some controversial emails and comment about that and stuff, but, most of the board's view was it is another tool to protect our officers and civilians if needed and everything. It was just shy of $260,000. Lord willing, we never have to use it, but you know what happened in Benzie County this last weekend, that was a NSP event, but they did call Bearcat in for protection of their officers with an armed gunman, you know, so. Thankful the money was there, and thankful that we can equip our sheriff's department how they need to be equipped, so.
What is a Bearcat?
Bearcat's
The
an
armored
armored vehicle
Oh, okay.
that, if they need to go into a hostile environment, they can have officers inside, they can be protected and stuff, so. I was at a, active assailant conference down in, downstate Michigan here in October there with the county and stuff, and, we listened to 8 or 9 different speakers over the course of 2 days, and, it was interesting how many times they brought a Bearcat type armored vehicle in to not only protect the officers, but also to get out wounded people and protect civilians, because they can use them to block, you know, rounds of fire going across the street or something in some other areas, so.
What happened in Benzie County? I guess I didn't hear about that.
There was a homicide where he was,
Friday.
Benzie County,
Yeah.
there was a gentleman that, murdered his next door neighbor, and then he hostage, or held himself up, or whatever, and, anyway, so they didn't talk about that event and stuff like that, but
Wow.
they knew he was armed or anything, so, anyway, long story short, our sheriff's office is getting a Bearcat. It is for defensive purposes only, not offensive, as some people have tried to suggest, or anything. It's not something that's gonna be parading around town and everything like that, so. And not only that, there are many times we have a Bearcat in this community and people don't know about it. And there's been many times that one is called in, you know, in certain events or anything. So long story short, we did approve the purchase, and that will take about 12 to 13 months to get, so, because that's how long it takes to build one and everything, so. That being said, we did also approve this last week, 6 new vehicles for the sheriff's department for road patrol, which is pretty much an annual thing. A lot of times though, it's in that 8 to 9 range, but they get vehicles, as with any department, they get about 120 to 140,000 miles on them. They're 6 to 7 years old, they're due for replacement, so. But just another nice way to show that, you know, we are supporting our law enforcement and keeping them in reliable equipment and everything, so. Then one more thing I have, tomorrow, our administration has assembled a committee of 12 people between some staff and community members to discuss ARPA funding and how we wanna go about the public input and comment on that and everything. And, they're gonna come up with a plan for us to look at to see how to move it forward in a positive way to where we don't have 4,000 requests for money and stuff like that. So we're gonna try to establish some criteria. I don't know how often they're meeting, but that's probably gonna take a couple months, I would say, for them to establish criteria to have the public input and everything like that. So I think that'll be very constructive in the future and save us a lot of time, actually. Not that we don't want public input on it, because we do, but it'll give us a platform on how to do it and make it more productive over time and everything. So as everybody knows, the county's gonna look at $18.2 million, and we wanna figure out where the best bang for the buck is, so to say, with that money, because it is a significant amount. But if we were to all dedicate it to road projects, we all know how far that would go. It'd go from here to the light and back, and you know, and stuff. So we wanna make sure that we're spending that money wisely to benefit our community the best we can. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions or comments for me or anything?
I am glad you got that 12-member committee
Yep.
for the ARPA fund. I think that's great. You got citizens there too, business leaders and all that, which is
Yeah.
great.
We did hire, I wanna say it was around the beginning of November meeting there, a consultant that's gonna go ahead and decipher all the criteria for us and everything, because as most of you know, that has continually changed up until the final rule or whatever it's called, and stuff like that. So, I mean, we did hire an outside consultant too to help us with that and everything, and that was to not spend any more than $22,000, I think it was, for our administrator for that consultant or something like that. We figured the number will come in less, but the max is like 22 or 24,000 and stuff. So, you know, I think we'll have, between the committee and the consultant, I think we'll have some really good ideas and suggestions, and I look forward to it. And it's probably a one-time thing that all us taxpayers will eventually pay for it, but anyway, we do have 18.2 coming to our county. That's not counting what townships within our county are getting also, so. But yeah,
I think the consultant is gonna be at one of our upcoming MTA meetings.
I think so too. I think I heard that, so, yeah, I think you're correct.
Brad, has there been any further discussions between East Bay and county on Twin Lakes?
No. You mean Long Lake and the county?
Yes.
Yeah. No, not yet. We had that initial conversation there about a month ago, and Long Lake was to go back and do some kind of soul searching, so to say, and come up with some requests and everything to see how we could transition that. Now, I will say, the board as a whole, our whole focus is who can manage it and run it better. You know, it's not that we just wanna offload it and it's their problem and stuff. We're truly looking at, you know, can the county continue the resources and make that a better place than what it is, or can Long Lake Township do that, so.
Well, the county's done a nice job so far out there.
Yeah, you know, there's improvements that need to be done, as with any facilities and stuff. I mean, there's maintenance and different things like that, and that's one of the things Long Lake's looking into to see if they can come up with a better maintenance plan, so to say, and stuff. But no, right now, we don't have any further direction on where that's going. I'm sure we'll be talking about it in the near future here, but, we'll see what, Supervisor Lumcool comes back with and everything. And like I said, the main focus of the board, from what I gathered, is to see who can run it better, who can maybe grow it better. And we all know that it's not just a Garfield Township or Long Lake Township people that's using it. I mean, it's people from in the county and outside of the county, outside of the state and everything that use it all the time. And we just want to make sure for our community that it's ran and operated the best and looks nicest and is the safest for anybody that's using it.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks, everybody, and like always, my contact information's on the website, and I do have business cards here. If anybody needs to reach out or wants to reach out, feel free to email me, call me, or whatever, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, everybody, have a good evening.
Yep, you too.
Okay, number 4, policy number 2022-23, defense and indemnification.
Indemnification.
Thank you, policy. Appreciate that, thanks.
I'm not sure if any of you, wow, I'm not sure if Dennis or Roger or Carl or Marilyn know why this is coming to the board.
No, I read it and I see some typos in it.
Where are the typos?
Like on page, I think it's on page 1, exclusion, talks about all the personal actions are establishes PR, the township board.
Oh, yeah,
And then on the next page, number 4, it says, discharge and following within the scope of the township duties, the personal shall immediately report. I think should be personnel.
yeah,
So it's
personal, the person,
The person, should be person, not personal.
okay.
So yes, I did read it.
All right, any other ones you found?
I didn't see that.
Or anybody else? Well, I think Nicole was gonna update the trustees, but apparently she didn't. And I'm just gonna say this, and we're not gonna talk about it anymore. But Operations Services has filed a lawsuit against the township for terminating the contract. And so the township attorney, first thing she asked was, do you have a defense and an indemnification policy? And he said, no. Well, you need one. So here it is.
I'll make a motion to adopt defense and indemnification,
Indemnification.
policy number 2022-23.
Or,
Okay, it's been moved and supported to support the passing of the Township of Blair Defense and Indemnification Policy Number 2022-23. Roll call.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Sights,
Yes,
Cleese,
Yes.
Kuchera,
yes,
Campbell,
Yes.
Wolfgang.
Yes. Probably tomorrow I will email this to everybody to print off and put in their policy book.
you're not gonna go and buy ink now?
Yes.
Oh, man,
Or you can come in and bring your policy book in here, I'll print it off,
cool, thank
and I'll
you.
even hole punch it, and you can put it in your book.
That'll be easy to print out.
good, yep, good, because I can't print off my computer.
All right. Well, just bring your book in, and if that's easier for you to do the same thing, but.
Yeah, because I don't have a computer.
Just a minute, how many pages?
I haven't used any ink in about 6 months, yeah.
Okay, number 5, and this was a long read. Notice of right to referendum on becoming a charter township.
So after every census, we get a letter from the Secretary of State. Because our population is over 2,000, we could decide we wanted to be a charter township. But, you know, this pretty much spells it out what we need to do.
Mhm.
And I included the general law or charter township brochure from MTA, which was the exciting read, wasn't it?
Good twice, 30 days.
Yeah. And Nicole and I talked about it the other day. We also talked with Chuck Korn from Garfield Township. And I mean, there's not a lot of advantage to be in a charter township. We could, if we adopt it by resolution, okay, let me back up here. If it went to a vote of the people to be a charter township, then we could levy up to 5 mills. Right now, the township gets, well, I think with the rollbacks, like 0.8 mills. But if we adopt it by resolution, we would still have to go to, we could actually go up to 10 mills, but it would have to be approved by the voters.
Approved by the board.
And they, you know, they're not gonna do that.
No.
They're not gonna go even for 5.
Right.
So, we don't have to worry about the city annexing us because we're not adjacent to them. There's really not any reason to, any advantage
To do it.
that I can see.
Can,
Very
Garfield try to annex us or no? Can I
No, it
say-
has to be a city or a village.
Okay.
There's some certain things you have to do as a charter township.
Right.
Yeah,
Um,
change your year-end date.
Right.
Now I gotta look at this because,
Is this something we have to decide on? I mean, I would think this would take more than just this meeting.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. This is a big deal. I read it twice and I.
Dennis, can you speak louder?
Yeah, I said, I read this twice and I'm, you know, myself, my opinion was, why don't we stay as we are?
Well, yeah, so we could vote to not
Yeah, okay.
incorporate,
Not
is
to
it?
incorporate, you
Um,
know, do this
Yeah,
down the road.
there's not that many advantages for us.
No.
So. Yeah, and I didn't know, you know, what how the rest of the board felt. So
Yeah.
all of the resolutions are in here.
Mhm.
I just won't have a number for you at this point, but if it's a consensus of everyone, we could go ahead and adopt the resolution of intent opposing incorporation as a charter township.
No. If that is done, does that mean down the road we could not incorporate?
No, we could,
After the next census
Okay.
or it could go to a vote
of the people.
of the people if,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I would vote to adopt the resolution of intent opposing incorporation as a charter township.
I'll support.
Of opposing to use.
Of opposing, resolution of intent opposing incorporation as a charter
Option 1.
township.
It's been moved and supported to adopt a resolution of intent opposing incorporation as a charter township. Roll call.
Please? Yes. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Zeiss,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes. Next are the quotes for a topper for the DPW truck.
I don't know, I think Roger knows, but I don't know if the other trustees know. We did get our 2022 Chevy Silverado that we ordered that we had no idea when it was gonna come in.
Yeah.
We still haven't gotten the Equinox yet, though.
Well, there's, the Chevy was supposed to come in, what, 2023, right?
Right,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
and the Equinox was supposed to be in before the end of
Before that,
last year.
I just seen the truck the other day when I pulled it.
Yeah. So Ryan got, quotes on toppers. There's two. The quote for Michigan truck accessories, does not include a light or running
It
boards.
does include running boards.
Does not.
Does not.
SS Nerf bars, Chevy crew cab are running boards.
You on the
Nerf
second?
bars are running boards. That I know because when I was looking for them, my wife's went down. If you Google that,
What's it
Nerf
called?
bars will come
The
up.
SF
It says
Nerf
right
bars
there,
for
number
$570.
STL, SS Nerf bars. 019-C
Well,
Chevy crew cab, those are running boards.
Ryan told me it didn't.
No, it is
I don't know.
running, if you Google that, Nerf bars, it is running boards. So I was hoping to see if I could put another running board underneath what my wife has, so I could climb in there. So that's why I know that.
Well, I don't know.
But it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter because, you know, whatever quote, you're right, the other quote looks better, you're right.
Does the other one have running boards? I didn't see that.
I believe so, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
it-
list it.
Oh, yeah.
4-inch
4 inch.
SS
Oh, yeah.
over
Right
bar.
at the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just call it running boards.
Right,
Yeah.
right. For us that don't know your lingo.
And of course, Auto Outfitters has tax on it, but we wouldn't pay sales tax.
And also auto owners is here in the township.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I would make a motion to approve the bid for auto outfitters for the sum of $5,138.60.
It'd only be the 40.
Oh.
4880.
Oh, that's, I'm sorry. I'll make an amendment to that. $4,880.
I support that.
Okay, it's been moved and supported to accept the offer from Auto Outfitters for the topper for the new Silverado truck for a total of $4,880.
Zeiss,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes,
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Fleece, Yes. Campbell.
Yes.
Okay, number 7, transfer of funds from fund balance to general fund, new building fund.
Does everybody understand what I was saying here?
yes.
Okay.
Do we still have that money after tonight?
Well, most of that money's coming out of the water fund
Yeah.
or the ARPA funds. I would move to approve moving $300,000 from general fund balance into the general fund new building fund.
Or,
Okay, it's been moved and supported for moving the fund balance,
Moving $300,000.
$300,000 from the fund balance and put it into our new building fund.
Correct.
Campbell,
Yes.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Zeiss,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Kuchera,
yes,
Fleece. Yes.
Okay, next is budget amendment for grant received.
We received this grant a while back, but we just need to amend the budget, increasing the budgeted amount for revenues for state grants by $7,194.
Okay, I'll support that.
That's your motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's been moved and supported to approve the amendment to the budget to increase the revenue for state grants by $7,194.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Please. Yes.
Budget amendment for electronic poll books.
So Cindy and I knew that we needed new laptops for elections, what we were gonna budget for them for 22, 23. Well, then the county clerk emailed us and said, guess what? Kingsley's gonna have an election. So we'll know tomorrow for sure, because she told him, you know, you're gonna have to pay the whole cost. And, but, yeah. And she said, you know, instead of putting it, they could put it on the August election and then they wouldn't have to pay the whole cost. But, tomorrow's the deadline for, you know, filing, so if they wanted to change their mind. So we'll know tomorrow for sure, but we would need one new laptop for May anyways, and it would be nice to get all the same model
Yeah.
and everything. And we have about $4,000 in the clerk's office budget, that if we moved to the elections budget, we could cover the cost of getting all 6 of them right now.
You need it moved from one to the other.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to move $4,000 from the clerk's office budget to elections budget to cover the cost of 6 new laptops for electronic poll books.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to move $4,000 from the clerk's office budget to the elections budget to cover the cost of 6 new laptops for the electronic poll book.
Please. Yes. Wolfgang,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Okay, next is to declare 1627 East Brentwood a dangerous building site.
Fitzpatrick, get with you, Dennis?
And I don't know if everybody received the photos or copies
Yes.
Yeah.
of the building itself.
But there's nothing, just the photos.
Yeah.
Yes, that's all.
So there's,
So I guess
So I'm assuming this
And
is
this is-
vacant.
it's vacant. It's been vacant for several years.
Yes.
And there's been cars on the lot and people have made offers on it, and this person lives, I'm not sure where they live now. Nobody is living there and hasn't lived there quite a while. And she has been notified of what's gonna happen. And
I think her husband passed or
Yes.
something. She said she just can't go back in there.
go back in there and doesn't want to get
And
rid of it.
she's good with it? I mean,
I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay, just,
that truck's been sitting there a while.
Yeah,
The
the
trees
truck's
grow.
Her husband passed away several years ago, and she lives in the apartments down by
Walmart or something. Yeah,
Depot,
right.
Walmart. down
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
I know she comes in and pays taxes on it.
Oh, does she?
well, I'd make a motion to declare 1627 East Brentwood a dangerous building.
I support.
It's been moved and supported to declare 1627 East Brentwood as a dangerous building.
Kuchar,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Leaf. Yes. Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Okay, and then this is a annual thing we do every year for a contribution to the Boom Boom Club. It's for the fireworks display
Yep.
over the 4th of July.
And we did donate last year, but then they were canceled, so they did refund the $250.
And I believe this year it will be happening.
Yes. I would move to approve the contribution of $250 to the Boom Boom Club.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to contribute financial participation for the
Yes.
$250 for the Traverse City Boom Boom Club.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Leaf. Yes. Campbell,
Yes.
Kuchar,
Yes.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Is there
Grant,
a grant?
are you gonna talk about the purchase of the ambulance for Eric?
I'm here to answer any questions that you might have about it that I know, that I can answer.
All right,
Four tires and one mic, right?
That's pretty much a lot of money.
so
If you could kind of just walk us
Yeah.
through, if you could just kind of walk us through this, Grant, because
This
it's
is-
kind of new to a lot of people that weren't aware of this. So.
this is 3 separate quotes, correct?
I believe so, yes.
All from Kodiak
All
though?
through Kodiak, yes.
So. I guess so one's a Braun, one's an Osage, and one is a Demers.
Yes.
Okay, got that part. And the one 5A right now is a Braun.
The Braun, yes, we got through Kodiak.
And not everybody likes that ambulance. Am I
Pardon me?
correct? Not everybody likes that ambulance.
No, the interior layout is less than desirable for some people.
Okay,
So
Now, which one's that? The what?
that's the one that's closest.
It's our
to the
newest
Finance
one.
Chief's office.
But didn't they design it?
Pardon me?
Didn't the people have a say as to what was gonna be in it?
Not necessarily, no. That was a lot of maybe 1 or 2 people's
Oh,
input versus the committee that we had this time.
okay, good.
And we met several times discussing different things that we'd like to see, things that make things a little bit easier for us as far as carrying equipment and such. And one thing that we decided to not do is, for example, we carry air packs on our new ambulance. We decided to just no longer do that because they hardly get used. And that's space that could be used for interior cabinetry versus an exterior compartment to carry those air packs.
why, sorry, go ahead.
The current one we have is a 2015.
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Why did you carry air packs?
Just the intent was there that the ambulance would also be responding to a fire,
Mhm.
and that it was possible that the ambulance could be driving by a fire or
Yeah.
closer to the scene of a fire.
Mhm.
We also carry air packs in our echo units too, and I think one has only been used once. So we're more likely to use the air packs out of the fire trucks than we are the EMS vehicles. And spaces that are premium in those.
So I guess what's the difference between the 3 different ambulances? I mean, are they all laid out pretty much the same?
They should be all spec the same. I didn't get a chance to look at it detailed, but they should all be spec'd out the same. This is.
I didn't see this
Between
before.
Osage, Demers, and Braun is gonna be the difference between Chevy, Ford, and Dodge. You know, just different brand names, different companies that are building the boxes. And we've had good luck with Brauns,
Okay, so the committee is recommending the Braun.
yes. There are some ambulance manufacturers that are not as well reputed as Braun. I have limited dealings with the other ones too, but I know Braun's a good ambulance
Yeah.
brand.
Eric and I talked about this today, because there is a down payment of 10%, so approximately $23,000. He has, 28, between capital outlay and equipment and the EMS budget, there's, $28,000 that hasn't been touched yet. So I recommended to him that it be, I asked him, I said, do you anticipate any large purchases before the end of the fiscal year? He said, nothing, that big. So I recommended he use that money for the down payment. And then the other 90% would be due on delivery, which, 450 days to 5, right? It could be not even next fiscal year, but the next.
Right,
Fiscal
right,
year.
There's considerable waiting time now.
Yeah,
And in that little spiel that some sort of too, that these prices are only good for 30 days. They used to do 90 days, 180 days, but the way things are going, you have to lock in at 30 days, otherwise it's probably gonna go up too.
So you're going to transfer the Stryker power cot and self-loading system to the new,
Yes, from our ambulance, the 583,
Which-
which has power load cot in. It hasn't gotten, the power load itself hasn't got much use because that's our third out ambulance, so it's still in reasonable shape.
and the cost of that's approximately $45,000, so
Brand
that's a
new.
huge savings.
Yes.
Worth every penny.
why, do all the ambulances have it, the power cot?
582 does not have it.
But-
That's our oldest ambulance.
But the Braun one does,
Yes.
and the 2007 one for
Yes.
some reason. Okay.
And 583 is our problem child, so.
Yeah.
something we'll be taking the load system out on. And get
Yeah.
rid of, whether we trade it in or sell it.
Does anybody else have any questions?
And we do, I mean, the Braun, don't we spend a lot of money on repairs on that?
It's starting to show its age.
Yeah.
And there are some things that we've had bad luck with the air horns,
Yeah.
the air tanks occasionally, but it's been a pretty good ambulance.
Okay. All right, I would move to approve the purchase of a Braun Chief XL Type 3 ambulance on a Chevrolet G4500 gas 4x2 chassis in the amount of $227,601.
Okay, it's been moved and supported to approve the purchase of a Braun Chief XL Type 3 ambulance on a Chevrolet G4500 gas 4x2 chassis for the quoted cost of $227,601.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes?
Kuchera,
Yes.
Seitz,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Lees. Yes.
We are just spending money.
I don't think
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, he made me look cheap.
What?
He made me look cheap.
I mean, Patrick, get off easy.
Yeah, well, so far.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Not really.
Just wait till we get together, right, Ken? How much is in that waterfall and sewer?
There-
fund?
Yeah.
We're spending
We're not the
25,000
red yet,
there.
but we're gonna be close.
150,000. No, you don't look cheap.
I know.
Between
And
the meters,
I know.
late trim, and Peerless,
Well,
you're
the
way
meters-
over
Yeah,
227,000.
The meters will
I know.
hopefully, I mean,
Yes.
yes, January we billed for like 6.3 million and we pumped 14.
Mhm.
But we did have a service line break, which I estimated at 1.5 million. But still, 1,400 customers are not using 6.3 million gallons. Especially without commercial.
When you consider how elated we all are of the growth of this area, both commercial and residential,
Yes,
with that comes a cost. of-
growing pains,
Yeah, growing pains and cost of carrying on business.
yes.
Okay, declare laptop tag number 2268 and docking station tag number 2269 as surplus. And
I
those are-
support.
Okay. It's been
I
moved and
got to do it for a
supported
change.
to declare laptop tag number 2268 and docking station tag number 2269 as surplus.
And Eric said it's not, it has no value,
Mhm.
so.
Please? Yes. Kuchar,
No,
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Zeit,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Wolfgang.
Yes.
And with a follow-up on that, to place an ad for another water sewer operator.
I make a motion, we place an ad for another water sewer operator.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to place an ad for another water sewer operator.
Is there someplace besides the Record Eagle that we put that in?
Oh,
The Michigan Rural Water website.
We need a
Oh.
wage, don't we? Or not really?
I would think so.
yeah.
Good thought, Reg.
And, because you were talking about posting, do you guys normally do like post it on Indeed?
Yeah.
And Michigan Rural Water website, they have a job posting
Okay.
section.
MTA does too.
Mhm.
yeah, because East Lance is looking
It's
for
just
water
our-
operator right now.
I think our policy says that we'll post it in the Record Eagle.
Yeah. But
Well,
I
most
just
people
wondered
don't read
where
Record
else
Eagle.
where
Yeah.
else we post it.
Most people use
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of the water sewer guys use Michigan Rural Water.
We've had good luck with Indeed
Yes.
getting responses.
Because when you post it, people that are looking for that job, they'll get a notification. Like Michigan Rural Water, every time they post a job, if you sign up, you get a notification right when it's posted.
Oh, cool.
And that's how I got those job descriptions. I just went to their website.
Yeah.
They have there's a one that's all water.
Yeah.
Mostly water and sewer, jobs.
Should there be salary in there or something, or just hire somebody?
Well, this is a job description.
Yeah, okay, that's the job description in this one, but then I'm talking about number 15 or whatever, add, not.
Well, yeah, well,
In the ad.
Are we gonna just add one without knowing
no,
the
we
wages?
already should talk about that.
Yes, I wouldn't mind to hire, say, okay,
You
we're gonna hire
could
somebody,
do
we'll
a
discuss the
range.
wages.
Yes.
Like,
We don't have a lot of money.
like, you could do a range from whatever to whatever, depending on qualifications and licenses.
Right.
Somebody's got licenses, you wanna pay them a little more.
Now, Patrick, I know like through my brother's work, they give them a year to get a license.
Yep.
Could we do something like that and have that kind of wording?
Yes.
Because
Well-
these licenses are very specific to what you guys do.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, it's not like an accountant
Yeah.
where you can go out and get several different jobs. I mean, these,
Well, it does say in the description,
right, but what I'm
2
saying,
years actually.
oh, does it? Okay,
Yeah.
yes, I missed that.
Minimum
Brian
D4
working
and
on our
S4
licenses
license or
also
ability
right
to
now?
obtain within
Yeah.
2
he's
years.
Yeah.
got a test.
That's good, yeah.
Ryan can test for his 3. He's either got a D3 or an S3 and S4, B4. He can test for his 3. He just gotta apply and test
But-
for
It would be nice
Okay, I
to get
thought you
somebody
it. It
with a
takes,
license.
It would, but
Because
it'll
they're
be
not gonna
very
have time
hard.
to train.
You're gonna have a very difficult,
and like, if you get a guy that has no licenses, it's gonna take him at least a year for he can test for his force.
mhm.
And when I first started, I was able to test. I tested for both my fours at the same 6 months. I got both of them. And then 6 months later, I got my threes. And then so on and so forth. I have a D1, S2, F4. Now, Eagle, they want to see more experience. They're actually turning guys down for exams right now because they want guys to have more experience before they test. So it's going to be at least a year somebody doesn't have to get their fours, and then another year to get their threes, depending on experience. And working in Blair, we have a little bit of everything. Because on the application, it'll ask you for, if you're taking a distribution license, do you have experience repairing hydrants, valves, service lines, working on pumps? The more experience you have, the more they're gonna allow you to test for that.
So, do you think the range of between $20 and $22 an hour is fair?
I would go 19 to 24, depending on licenses. Or 23, 19.
Well, yeah, because Ryan doesn't make 24.
Right. 19 to 23, depending on licenses.
Ryan makes 23.20. I think.
He doesn't have his threes either.
But, oh, I see what you're saying. He has 1 3.
Right.
Between 19 and
19
23?
to 23-ish, yeah, depending on.
depending on qualifications.
Yeah. And you know, the township has really good insurance, and they have the MERS,
Yeah.
which that is gonna be a huge draw to someone.
Mhm.
Because I mean, a single person can't survive on $23 an hour in this area,
Yeah.
you know? So if some guy is married and he has kids and his wife has a decent job, and he can look at getting the benefits in the MERS retirement here,
Mhm.
that's a huge draw.
And a great retirement.
Okay, so. Do you want to amend your motion, Marilyn,
Sure, what do you
to
want?
include the, to place an ad for the water sewer operator with a wage?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
That we put it out to yearly, because the bigger the number, I know it's kind of psychology, but
Yeah.
if you put it, you
Well,
know,
give us some
from.
numbers, Trace.
Let's see. Alright, so 19
Times 2080.
is 39.5. To 23, you said, is 47.8.
Why not just make it between 40 to 48,000
Yeah.
per year?
There you go.
You want it 40?
40,
I just,
48.
it's just psychological, but when people see that number opposed to
A yearly
19,
number.
Yeah,
yeah,
Okay, I
Yeah,
can-
that's.
especially when you start running around and Culver says up to $22 an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then in small.
And
With no
you can add in the job description,
Full benefits.
full benefits and MERS retirement.
No, that's not part of the job description, that's
Okay.
part of the benefit
Okay.
package.
Okay.
That, we can add that on
Posting.
the web, yes.
That would be
Yes.
beneficial there, because people see that return, or that benefits package, and then they see the MERS.
Yeah.
That's a big draw.
Okay, we still gotta vote on this, right?
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Sights,
Yes.
Please,
Yes. Wolfgang,
Yes.
Kuchera,
No,
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patrick. I have one more thing. Um,
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
one of our firemen,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jalapia, was the feature on the Gather magazine, which covers mainly fire departments throughout. And anyways, also, it's the full story about him, and he was a first lieutenant in Afghanistan, had 162 men under him. And he served a year over there.
My
And
brother-in-law was one of them.
his brother-in-law?
My
Oh,
brother-in-law.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Served with me.
Anyways, it's a great story if you ever get a chance. It's right here.
I read it today.
And Amy Wiggins is back now, so
Yep.
we're back at full. Any more public input? Any public input? No? I would adjourn at 8:12.